Hi guys, Mr. Hill here with your second English lesson for this week. So yesterday in our lesson, I set you a little bit of a challenge. I gave you some images and some pictures of some books and of a theatre and asked you to work out who it was. Now, I've seen a few answers have come through on Tapestry and it was indeed William Shakespeare. So if you got that right, fantastic, well done. If you didn't, don't worry about it. It was Shakespeare we're looking at. And that's who we're going to be looking at some of his work for the course of this term. So today's lesson, can I understand the key vocabulary for the model text? So as normal, we've got our model text. We're going to go through it together today. We're going to pick out our key vocabulary and then we're going to work through it. We're going to look at the tricks that we've used, the grammar, the punctuation, and how everything comes together. So starting off, Christopher Marlowe, biography. He was born around 1564 and died about 1593. Christopher Marlowe, also known as Kit, was a poet and playwright at the forefront of the 16th century dramatic Renaissance. While Christopher Marlowe's literary career lasted less than 6 years, in his life only 29 years, his achievements, most notably the play The Tragical History of Dr. Faustus, ensured his lasting legacy. Christopher Marlowe was born in Canterbury around February 26, 1564. This was the day on which he was baptized. He went to King's School and was awarded a scholarship that enabled him to study at Corpus Christi College, Cambridge, from late 1580 until 1587. Marlowe earned his degree in 1584, but in 1587, the university hesitated in granting him his master's degree. Its doubts were set to rest when the Privy Council sent a letter declaring that he was now working on matters touching the benefit of his country. And we're just going to pause here rather than just carrying on and reading through. We're going to pick out some of the key vocabulary. So we've got this word here, Renaissance. It's a new growth of activity or interest in something, especially art, literature, or music. A legacy, something that is part of your history or that remains from an earlier time. Scholarship, an amount of money given by a school, college, or a university or another organization to pay for the studies of a person with great ability but very little money. So some places more of an American thing. You'll hear of people being given a scholarship to go to a university and play American football or tennis or golf or another sport. They'll use that money to develop their career as a sports person. And in some instances, certainly in American football, that scholarship can then lead to a career in professional American football. We'll move on. The nature of Marlowe's service to England was not specified by the council, but the letter sent to Cambridge has provoked abundant speculation, notably the theory that Marlowe had become a secret agent working for Sir Francis Walsingham's intelligence service. With scant hard evidence and rampant speculation, the mystery surrounding Marlowe's service to the Queen is likely to remain. Spy or not, after attaining his master's degree, Marlowe moved to London and took up writing full-time. After 1587, Marlowe was in London writing for the theatre and probably also engaging himself occasionally in government service. What is thought to be his first play, Dido, Queen of Carthage, written while he was still a student at Cambridge. So again, we're going to pause and we're going to look for some of the key vocabulary. We've got this word here, abundant, existing or available in large quantities or plentiful. So there's lots of something. So there was lots of speculation about what the letter had written in it. So speculation, the forming of a theory or conjecture without firm evidence. So it's a guess about what might have been in the letter in this instance. They've guessed, really. They've formed their theory based on a guess about what was in that letter. There was no evidence. The letter was never found or stored, so we don't actually know what was in there. Rampant, especially of something unwelcome, flourishing or spreading unchecked. So we could say, using COVID as an example, to begin with. COVID ran rampant through the country. It wasn't stopped from spreading at one point because people didn't really know how to stop it spreading. We obviously know now. We have our keep our hands clean, we don't touch our face, we give everyone space. We've been in lockdown for the last 7 weeks, which is why we're still having our lessons online. So by order to do that, so that just gives you an idea of what rampant means. So we have Elizabeth. Need to read this bit to you guys first. Elizabethan theatre was split into 3 genres: history, tragedy, and comedy. Marlowe only wrote histories and tragedies. His histories include Dido, Queen of Carthage, Edward II, Hero and Leander, and Tamburlaine the Great. The Jew of Malta and the tragical history of Dr. Faustus were his tragedies. Marlowe's most famous play is the tragical history of Dr. Faustus. It is the first dramatized version of the Faust legend, in which a man sells his soul to the devil in exchange for knowledge and power. The constant rumors of Marlowe's atheism finally caught up with him on Sunday, May the 20th, 1593, and he was arrested for just that crime. Atheism or heresy was a serious offence, for which the penalty was burning at the stake. Despite the gravity of the charge, however, he was not jailed or tortured, but was released on the condition that he report daily to an officer of the court. So we'll go through it again. We're going to pause here, go through our vocabulary for this passage. So we've got Elizabethan. So it's relating to or a characteristic of the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. So if you hear of things being described as being Elizabethan, it's not the current Queen Elizabeth, it's the first Queen Elizabeth. Dramatized. So it's to adapt particularly a novel or present a particular incident as a play. So you might have seen, we've had things like, there's a book called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime was taken to stage. Matilda has been taken to stage. We did Matilda before Christmas. So the novel Matilda was adapted to be put on as a stage play. So there you go, dramatized. Heresy, belief or opinion contrary to orthodox religious, especially Christian doctrine. So it's thinking differently to what the ordinary religious teachings of the time are. So that's what heresy was. It was seen as, because you didn't believe in God and the story of the Bible, the word from the Bible, that you were committing heresy, because at this time Britain was a very, very Christian country. On May 30th, however, Marlowe was killed by Ingram Fraser, allegedly. After spending the day together with Marlowe in a lodging house, a fight broke out between Marlowe and Fraser over the bill, and Marlowe was stabbed in the forehead and killed. Conspiracy theories have abounded since, with Marlowe's atheism and alleged spy activities at the heart of the murder plots. But the real reason for Marlowe's death is still debated. What is not debated is Marlowe's literary importance, as he is Shakespeare's contemporary and is second only to Shakespeare himself in the realm of Elizabethan tragic drama. So our vocabulary from here: allegedly, used to convey that something is claimed to be the case or have taken place, although there's no proof. So you might hear it used on the news or in a television program to say that somebody allegedly did something. For example, Mr. Hill allegedly threw a student out of the window last year. There's no proof that this happened, and I can confirm, I will tell you now, I didn't throw a student out of the window last year, but that's what, when you would use the word allegedly there to make that so that you can claim it, but you don't have the proof to back it up. Conspiracy theories. Now, this has been in the news a lot. There's all sorts of conspiracy theories, particularly about the vaccine that was being released for COVID. And it's a belief that some covert but influential organization is responsible for an unexplained event. So there is a conspiracy theory going around saying that someone somewhere released COVID from a laboratory. It was a made virus designed for something else. So that's one of the conspiracy theories. And if you really do have half an hour to spend looking at the conspiracy theories about various different things, there are some fascinating stories out there that would explain anything from how man landed on the moon. And the conspiracy theory is actually they never did. It was done on a studio, and they put the video out to say they'd beaten the Russians in the race to the moon. There's loads of conspiracy theories. It's fascinating. If you've got half an hour, take the time, have a look through. Some of them are ridiculous. Some of them, if you're able to sort of leave your mind to one side for 5 minutes, you could almost believe the theories that people have come up with to explain certain events. Next word here is contemporary. A person or thing living or existing at the same time as another. So you can say your classmates are your contemporaries because you are living and existing at the same time as each other. So, short write task for you. Try to write sentences using the key vocabulary from our model text. So go back, look through, pick out the key vocabulary. What you might also want to do while you're doing that, reread the text yourself. So pause the video, read it through, look for any other words that you're not quite certain of the meanings for. We can discuss them in our teams on Wednesday, or maybe you could have a go with your dictionary or look them up online, use an online dictionary, find the meaning of those words. So if you're unsure of, have a look, do a bit of research. So going back to your short write task, write sentences using the key vocabulary from our model text. How many can you fit into one sentence, and make sure that sentence still makes sense? Can you use parentheses? Now, we did do this a few weeks ago. So if you want to, go back through our Year 5 playlist and remind yourself of what parenthesis is. Good luck, stay safe, and we'll see you all very soon.